Hello and welcome to Mexico News Network's Breaking News. Thank you for joining us. I am your host, Elisa Carballo, and we have excellent information for you. Mexico News Network is your #1 source for reliable information on business and investments in the Americas, stock markets and bonds, and also corporate information about Mexico. So why not browse through our website on www.mexiconewsnetwork.com, our very own digital content platform. Now let's begin with today's main headlines. Mexico's current automotive industry is doing very well since car makers at a worldwide level have announced that they have invested approximately $24.2 billion into the nation ever since the year 2010. Ever since then, up until today, 5 new assembly plants have opened up in Mexico producing cars such as the Ford Fiesta, Honda Fits, 2S and 3S from Mazda, Nissan Sentra, and Ram vans from ProMaster. 5 more plants are expected to be open within the next 5 years, and some of them will produce luxury German cars. The Volkswagen Group, for example, will spend $1.3 billion in an Audi plant, for which it will send several Mexican engineers to Ingolstadt for learning and training for 2 years. The firm BMW also announced its very own multi-million plant, which will begin operations in 2019. Daimler and Renault Nissan will also construct a plant where they will start building cars in 2017, including Mercedes-Benz models, which will be made in 2018. Car makers choose Mexico for investment and the establishment of plants because of its low costs, and even though salaries for entry workers are lower than those in the US or Europe, they are able to build cars with the required standards, and sometimes they even overcome them. It is for this sole reason that, for example, Toyota, one of the companies that emphasizes the most on their cars' perfection, chose Mexico for its brand new plant. Corollas will begin their manufacturing in 2019 on a site in the northwest of Mexico City in Celaya, Guanajuato, and has been described as a new model for the company. However, it's not just low costs that attract car factories, it's also Mexico's free trade agreements with over 40 countries, including US and European Union members, which makes it a very favorable environment for the products of several models that can be sold in different markets all over the world. In more information, just a few months ago, the President of Mexico, Enrique Peña Nieto, welcomed Satya Nadella, CEO of Microsoft Corporation, in the presidential residence of Los Pinos in Mexico City. At that meeting, Nadella announced that Microsoft Corporation plans to invest $1 billion between this year and 2018 only in Mexico in order to support and promote education and digital inclusion. Now, according to a press release issued by the Presidency of the Republic, the destination of the investment was not detailed. However, Nadella said that the company is very much interested in promoting micro, small, and medium enterprises through the use of technology, information, education, and digital inclusion. During the meeting between the CEO of Microsoft and the President, Enrique Peña Nieto, was highlighted the company's commitment to support existing clusters in the states of Querétaro, Aguascalientes, Jalisco, Guanajuato, and Puebla. At the end of the meeting, members of the Mexican Institute of Youth, Microsoft fellows, and young entrepreneurs who have succeeded in their projects met with the head of the federal executive and Satya Nadella. Moving along to more information, the 7th meeting of the bilateral human rights dialogue between Mexico and the United States in Washington, D.C. took place just a few months ago. During this meeting, the United States recognized Mexico's progress on human rights and highlighted the recognition about the actions undertaken by the country to guarantee them. Some of the topics covered are the law enforcement and police practices particularly aimed at minorities, the death penalty and consular notification, and also the cooperation and participation in multilateral forums and greater accountability from authorities toward citizens. In addition, several pointers were also analyzed and discussed during the meeting, including actions and measures taken to prevent torture, the development of databases for the registration of missing people, as well as the human rights of migrants and especially of the most vulnerable groups. Within the meeting, each delegation held a brief account on issues concerning freedom of speech and actions to protect journalists as well as human rights defenders. And finally, they considered aspects on cooperation in border countries, all of this to reduce violent incidents. Both countries exchanged views in areas of multilateral cooperation, including matters relating to their cooperation in forums such as the Human Rights Council, the United Nations General Assembly, and within the work of the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights, as well as the Organization of American States and the Open Government Partnership. Now, this meeting took place thanks to the strong bilateral relationship and neighborly ties between Mexico and the U.S., which allowed both nations to participate in an honest and very much constructive exchange of issues that are priorities for both sides. In more news, Philip Cusack, Hassan Yassin, and Rafael Ostares are the three men who decided that Mexico was a great place to set up their furniture business. However, the decision was not made lightly. They noticed a huge market in a good average age and an unexploited market niche. Therefore, they founded Gaia Design, an e-commerce furniture and design company. Gaia founders saw that Mexico lacks furniture company options. Now, there are those that carry cheap and not very good quality products, and on the other hand, we have those stores that have imported expensive furniture. However, there's nothing in the middle. Now, the concept of their online furniture shops lies within the premise of offering furniture and decorative products with very fair prices, objects designed with great personality, which will give your home a nice style with good quality. Their pieces are mostly designed by their creative team, and 70% of their entire production is made in Mexico. With just a bit over 1 year old of its launch, Gaia has been able to take their sales to about $500,000 a month. Now, they are able to maintain fair prices and therefore obtain revenue by keeping things in-house. The furniture is produced in a factory that has been working for more than 40 years, which tripled its staff in the last 6 months. This is due to the increase in production. The company's future looks very promising, as they would like to take things to the next level. The international level, this is of course, but for now, they want to focus in Mexico City and increase the number of employees during the next few months. Moving along to Mexico's gross domestic product figures. The Mexican economy advanced by 0.8% on quarter in the 3 months to September of 2015, which is higher than a preliminary estimate of a 0.6% growth. It's the strongest expansion in 2 years, boosted by a rebound in industrial sector and growth in services. Gross domestic product growth rate in Mexico averaged 0.64% from 1993 up until 2015, reaching an all-time high of 2.90% in the first quarter of 1996 and a record low of minus 6.6% in the first quarter of 2009. Now, the service sector grew at a faster rate than initially anticipated. This is from 0.8% compared to 0.5% in the preliminary estimate. However, slowing from a 0.9% gain in the previous quarter, final figures showed. The industrial sector went up by 0.8%, better than a preliminary 0.7% and 0.1% increase in the previous period. Now, agricultural output rose by 2.3% compared to an initial estimate of 2.8%. However, it's higher from a revised 0.9% increase in the previous quarter. Figures for the second quarter were revised upwards to show the economy expanded at a faster 0.6% compared to the 0.5% gain the previous quarter. On a year-on-year basis, the gross domestic product advanced 2.6%, also higher than an earlier estimate of 2.4% in Mexico. Sadly, this was all for today. Thank you for joining us. I am your host, Elisa Carballo, and remember, you were watching Breaking News by Mexico News Network. Browse through our website on www.mexiconewsnetwork.com for more information on Mexico's rising and thriving industries, stock markets, investments, bonds, and so much more on Mexico, always on the positive side. We'll see you next time.